Alrighty, so daily recap of what happened today. I took two trades. Let's start with the GU and explaining what was my initial um, thought on the trades that I took. GU is still bullish on the H4. Internal is bearish. We're in phase C. We passed EQ, but I'm still waiting for price to potentially push lower into deeper demands, as we have nothing here that can make price continue higher, right? H4 internal, that's our H4 high, internal high, and that was our H4 internal low. I basically my idea or what I wanted to do is basically to play that pullback, the internal pullback to EQ, and then potentially look for shorts. That's exactly what happened. M15 swing internal. I mean swing is bearish, internal is bearish, so we're in phase A2, right? And what happened is that I had that internal high there, and our internal low was there after we had that shock. So I was confident that price could potentially push higher and mitigate higher supplies, minimum this one, and then potentially look into deeper demand supplies like this one right there. So after price gave us the shock, created one extreme supply demand. Price then ranged throughout the night, and during our session, price just mitigated that range and gave us a shock, giving us a fresh demand to look for trades from. So that was our demand. Went to the 5 minutes, all right, and waited for an LC1 exactly right there, and we took that entry. Stop loss behind the low, right? And on this trade, I took 1 to 4 because I was targeting that high, right? I mean the low here, and yeah, I took 1 to 4, somewhere around there, something like that. My stop loss was a bit tight, so yeah, it was a 1 to 4. Um, Beautiful trade. I mean, we kept on pushing higher, um, giving us a maximum to 1 to 6, but it was risky to hold the trade while we are on a internal supply, right? At any moment we could shift to the downside. Then what happened? Price mitigated that level, pushed to the downside, give us a shock right there. Um, Once price mitigated that demand, there was no potential trade as we didn't get any shock. So no potential trade right there. Also, we didn't get any LC to A, right? So nothing to look here. What happened next is that price swept lows right there, all right, and then pushed higher. So and then price push higher right there, creating some fractal structure and mitigating that high. You know, there you go, and mitigating that high, right? I mean, here it's not really a fractal structure as we swept liquidity, and then we shifted bearish, give us a shock there, and that was our M15 shock. And yeah, we could potentially see price continuing lower from here. I mean, I wouldn't be against the idea of price continuing lower. Um, Looking at the H4, I would say that price still maybe has some momentum to the upside before continuing lower. But if price, I mean, it already gave us enough confirmation that price wanted to push to the downside, right? Because um, once we got that shock right there, that was for me a shock. Um, so once we got that shock right there, price then looked for supply, which we didn't really have any unmitigated supply, right? And then, well, he used that supply as inducement, broke it, and then give us a shock, so confirming that price potentially want to move to the downside and break that internal low. So we could see a deeper push to the downside from here, all right, and mitigating that demand. So we could see a very deep pullback tomorrow. I mean, the next week, and then perhaps an internal shift in structure where we can continue to look for buys. But for now, I'm still bearish and looking for sells. So that was our first trade on GU. Same scenario for EU. So EU, same thing, was expecting price to potentially continue bearish, but I had that unmitigated supply that I was expecting price to push there, give us an entry, and then continue to downside. So I was bullish for the day. What happened is that price gave us a choke and then created, created some fractal structure, highs and lows, right? And yeah, and then what happened is that once so this low basically swept liquidity, right, and pushed to the upside. Once I got this fresh demand, I was waiting for an LC2A from here, which we got right there. So my entry was around there, and my stop loss was 2 pip buffer. I couldn't put my stop loss, to be fair, I couldn't put it below the level as the risk reward was not good. If this trade was gonna hit TP for 1 to 3, then I would pass my phase 2, so that's why I took it. Also, I made 4% on the day, so I wouldn't be against the idea of risking that 1%, you know what I mean? But usually I never, if I win, I never take another trade. But today was the only exception. And yeah, price just stopped me out. That's totally fine. What I saw on other brokers is that was a choke right there. So this blue candle was an inside bar, signifying that this was a choke, leaving us with this unmitigated supply. And yeah, once price reached that supply, it gave us another I choke right there, creating another unmitigated supply right there. And price just retested that one and continued lower, right? So in this scenario, I would understand why price pushed lower. But yeah, so that was our trade. Not too bad. It was a good idea, but unfortunately, it was lost. That's fine. Um, and yeah, so price again shifted bearish there after we swept those highs. Right, so yeah, we're looking for price to potentially push lower now. Respecting some supplies, we have this unmitigated supply right there that we could see price potentially come to, even though I wouldn't expect price to pull back till there. I'm just expecting it to break that internal low. Here is the structure, so that's in our internal high, right? That's our internal low. We have this unmitigated H4 supply. We have this unmitigated supply right there, M50 supply. Except that, yeah, we just swept liquidity. Also, I was looking to target higher because, well, yes, we reacted and we mitigated EQ, but I was still expecting price to potentially mitigate higher into some supplies in premium. So that was my outlook. Loss, unfortunately, but that's totally fine. Now, what could we expect for next week? I think we have no level here that could hold price, so I'm expecting potentially a move to downside, um, continuing to downside, and then we'll see from here. This internal low is weak, so I'm expecting price to break it. Even though we have this demand, it's not strong at all for me because it's already mitigated. So I wouldn't expect price to come and mitigate this demand or give us a big move from this demand. Although we could have a pullback. So yeah, that's basically what happened on EU and GU today. Had a win and a loss. That's fine. We had a win 3R, a loss. I mean 4R, a loss 1R. So total, we're still in profit 3R for the day, which is very good. And yeah, let's see if next week we'll get any better opportunities. If we get any trades, so we can validate our account, our phase 2. And yeah,